The gardener and construction worker who was brutally murdered in Karura, Kiambaa County, along with 4 family members by the main suspect, Lawrence Warunge, has been laid to rest in Gathiga Cemetery, Kiambaa County. NTV's Seth Olale also looks back at the horrific murder that took place at Wangonyu village based on alleged confession from the main suspect, as well as information gathered by investigative agencies.
The first victim of the brutal murder, James Kinyajui, a gardener and construction worker, was earlier today laid to rest in an emotional send-off at the Gathiga Cemetery in Kabete, Kiambaa County. Where the family of the deceased demanded justice.
Kinyajui ndiye alikuwa msaada wa hiyo nyumba, hata kama alikuwa na shida yake, kwa maana hata nyumba alikuwa amefungiwa hali alikuwa anakaa, lakini alikuwa msaada kwa mamake. Na sisi kama wakaji wa Kinago tungetaka haki itendeke juu ya huyu mtoto, kwa sababu kusema kweli yeye kifo ilimkuta hivyo tu.
James is survived with 1 wife and 2 children. Family and friends shocked at what happened as authorities try to piece together the evidence that led to the killing of James and 4 other family members last week. When Lawrence Kinyajui visited his family's home on the night of the 5th of January, the series of events that took place that night would leave the country in shock and 2 families in mourning. Lawrence's alleged confession gave details into the vile murder of the 5 victims, 4 of whom were his own relatives, and James Kinyajui, who was living in the family's compound and used to call Lawrence his friend while he was still alive. It is at the main gate of the Warunge family home in Wangonyu village, Karura, where the main suspect, Lawrence Warunge, reportedly commenced his killing spree on the night of 5th January. Once again access inside the compound, he entered the servant quarters of James Kinyajui, a manual laborer living within the family's compound. Lawrence is said to have caught Kinyajui, who was by then having supper, by surprise, hitting him on the head with a blunt object, stabbing him several times before finally slitting his throat with a knife. Next, Lawrence went to the main house where he found his mother alone in the kitchen. A brutal fight ensued, with Lawrence breaking his mother's hands before stabbing her in the chest and later slitting her throat. Lawrence's little brother, a 13-year-old Christian Jenga, is said to have ran down the stairs to his mother's rescue, but he was also stabbed several times by his older brother in the corridor. His father, who was upstairs in the master bedroom, apparently heard the commotion and jumped off the balcony and ran to the main gate to escape. Lawrence, however, caught up with his father in the compound and reportedly stabbed him 34 times before slitting his throat. Finally, Lawrence went back into the house, combing through it to look for his 13-year-old cousin, Maxwell Njenga, who was hiding under his bed in his bedroom. Despite Maxwell going on his knees and begging for mercy, he was also stabbed and had his throat slit. After the horrific murder, Lawrence is said to have changed his blood-stained clothes, packed them in a bag, as well as mobile phones, shoes, and the murder weapons used. 22-year-old main suspect Lawrence Warunge, a student from Mount Kenya University, and his girlfriend Sarah Mudhoni are currently being held at the Gigiri police station after they were arraigned on Monday at the Kiambaa law courts. The rest of the victims, the father, mother, brother, and cousin, are set to be buried on Saturday. Seth Olale, NTV.